Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. Welcome back to In the Trenches with Dr. Tammy. Before I begin today's podcast episode, I just want to say to you, yes, I'm wearing a t-shirt today, and it says, Faith Moved Me. And that is because right now, with everything that's going on, with the federal government shutting down, the furloughs, the possible layoffs, this is a time in which we need to take the time to count on someone other than ourselves. We need to lean on the word. And I know some of you may not be believers, but I hope that in this moment that you do take some time to believe in a power that's bigger than you and what can be done in this time in which you're wondering how you and your family are going to make ends meet for this temporary displacement. That's what we're going to call it. I am praying for you. I'm praying for your families. And I'm wishing you nothing but the best. Now, last week I chatted about some things and it got me a little bit emotional. So this week I'm going to pivot back to our series. I have my trusty notes with me today. So again, I may look down a little bit and then I will be looking up as we continue throughout the episode. Now, our episode today, this is a good one. At least to me it is. Our episode today is going to speak on attachment styles. We're going to teach about attachment styles and how they shape our adult relationships. So many of us are in relationships, family members, friends, romantic relationships, and we're not actually sure how things that have happened to us in our past have impacted where we currently are. So let's think about this for a moment. You wonder why you crave closeness from people. And not all people, but certain people. Some people might pull away from you. You're not sure why that is. It seems unfortunate. You're trying to figure out what it is that you may have done. And in many instances, you haven't done anything at all. What's really happening is that throughout your lifestyle, you have developed an attachment style, something that feels comfortable to you, something that makes you feel close to certain people. And what really happens is this formed long before you even gave it any thought. In fact, you may not have given it any thought until you heard me say something about it on today's podcast. Well, if that is the case, I hope that what little bit I share with you in the brief episode will help you. So let's get right into it. Attachment styles are often formed in our very earliest relationships. Yes, those relationships with our caregivers, our parents, our grandparents, aunts, uncles, even some of our cousins who may have been involved in raising us or in our upbringing, because family dynamics are so fluid, even way back in the day, as some of you might call it, but they're extremely fluid right now. These are the things that have shaped us into the people who we currently are. These things also have molded us in our ability to connect with other people. I know some of you are wondering, is this a positive thing? Well, in some instances, and I should say many instances, it is, because many people have very healthy relationships with their caregivers. So they take that healthiness into their adulthood and into all of the relationships that they form with others, whether it's their friends, whether it's coworkers, whether it's family members, or even in their romantic relationships. Here's what you need to know about these attachment styles. There are 4 of them. The first one is secure. You want to feel secure, meaning you want to be comfortable with the closeness, and you want a little bit of independence. Secondly, you're anxious. You're preoccupied. You're preoccupied with how this relationship, whatever type it is going to work out. You are craving closeness from someone. You have a fear of abandonment. And believe it or not, there are many of us out here who have a fear of abandonment, but they're not aware of that fact. They're not sure of that being exactly what's happening with them. They know that they crave being around someone. They don't understand why they have an issue with said person not being present when they want them to be. Thirdly, avoidant, dismissive, values independence, avoids too much closeness. Now here we have people who they could kind of take a relationship or leave it, because there are times when they like to be close, but not so much, because they prefer their independence over that relationship. So they're going to avoid the closeness that many of us crave in our relationships. And then finally, this is a doozy right here. Fearful avoidant. This attachment style is going to be disorganized. And here's what's so interesting about it. Every time I think about it, it says and shows that that person is craving closeness, but they fear intimacy. Let me repeat it. They crave closeness, but they fear intimacy. So while they want to be close to someone, they're also afraid to allow someone to truly get to know who it is that they are. Now imagine that being your attachment style. Imagine how that could impact your relationships, especially a romantic one with a partner. So let's talk about this secure attachment style in adults, because it's important that we speak about it in those terms for the podcast. What you want to do is you're going to, bear with me because I'm checking out my notes again. You are going to communicate your needs openly. You're going to make sure that whomever it is knows exactly what you need. You're going to take away the guesswork. You're going to make sure that you are clear and concise in your communication. You need to trust your partner. I know that for some people that's difficult, but when you have a secure attachment style as an adult, you don't have a problem or an issue, shall I say, trusting your partner. You also handle conflict very constructively. You're able to have two-way communication. You can talk through your issues when you have a secure attachment style as an adult. Your relationships are often going to run much more smoothly than the other styles. Now let's briefly talk about the others. In your anxious attachment style, you may be clingy. You may be clingy because You are afraid again of being abandoned. You want them around you all the time. You need them in your space because in your upbringing, you felt abandoned and you don't want to feel that as an adult. You know how it made you feel then and you don't want to experience it again. You are often the type of person who is in constant need of reassurance. Absolutely. You have had instances in your life as a child or young teenager where you felt unseen, you felt unheard, and you need that constant reassurance now as an adult. Next, we have our avoidant attachment. You are struggling. You are struggling with your emotional closeness. You want it, but you are afraid of it. I know that sounds like a lot, doesn't it? But believe me, there are so many people who want to be close, but because of their experiences, they are fearful of it. They are afraid. They may even withdraw when someone tries to get close to them, even though they know in their heart of hearts that they really desire the same thing. But they may put the guard up and say, hey, wait a minute. This kind of feels nice, but I'm not sure that I'm ready because before, somewhere in my life, someone let me down. So I'm afraid you're going to do the same. And if we were talking about a romantic relationship, that could lead to some strife between the two partners because one partner is seeking closeness. The other one wants the closeness, but as soon as your partner gets closer to you, you back off. You back off. Because while you want the closeness, you too believe that that person may not be there or may not treat you in a manner in which you want to be treated. And we have to do our best to try not to get caught in that space. To remember, just like with the secure attachment style, to try to get to a space where we can communicate what it is that we're feeling so that we do not alienate our partners, so that we don't push them away. And this is true of a friendship. This is true of a work relationship. Whenever you're faced with the opportunity for someone to be close in your space, you don't want that at all times because you fear it. Let me repeat it. You don't want it because you fear it, but you do want it because you crave it. Ooh, that's a doozy right there. That one is a doozy. And lastly, the fearful avoidant attachment. Woo, this one right here gets me every time. Gets me every time. It's a push-pull dynamic. Let's do it again. Push and pull. Come on. We're pushing and pulling because we don't know. We don't know. It's almost like trying to play double dutch. We're trying to jump in at the right time. We're trying to feel it out. We're not sure. We kind of want it, but we're afraid of it. Here we go. We're trying to get in, but we're afraid of it. It's the same thing as if you were going to a pool for the first time during the summer, and you're trying to decide if the water temperature is warm enough for you to dip your big toe into the pool. That's kind of what this fearful avoidant attachment style is. You're not sure about it. You're not sure about it. Your relationships can be very turbulent because of this. One moment, your partner thinks you're all in. Everything's hunky-dory in your partner's mind. But internally, you are having a struggle. You are at war in your mind with yourself because you feel all of those good feelings, but you don't trust them. You don't trust them. You see other people in relationships or friendships or great working relationships, but you are far too afraid to allow that closeness to be there all the time. So you experience strife in your family dynamics. You experience it at work. You especially experience it in your relationships. What do you want us to do about it, Dr. Tammy? What do you want us to do? Well, if we look at all of these attachment styles, what I want you to do is lean more towards finding your way to the secure attachment style. Because that attachment style allows you to receive goodness. It allows you to receive what someone is trying to give you in any of those relationships that I have described, in your family, on the job, in your romantic life. If you move more towards the secure attachment style, then you are less likely to feel more heartache. You're less likely to hurt others or to create hurt for yourself. You're more readily open for joy, for happiness in all aspects of your life. You are okay with the closeness. That is what happens when you move more towards that secure attachment style. So what are we going to do, Dr. Tammy? Let me tell you what we're going to do. We are going to get away from, as much as possible, the anxiousness. We're going to get away from the avoidance. And lastly, we're going to get away from that fearful avoidance attachment style. And we're going to look and be open for secure attachments. We're going to enjoy the closeness. We're going to receive it. And in turn, the people in our lives are going to also receive who it is that we are. And keep in mind, I know, we are all a work in progress. But what we learned today is there are 4 attachment styles for adults. And there is one that we want to try to get ourselves to so that our lives can be less chaotic. And I know I'm using that word a lot in these last couple of weeks. But there can be some serenity in your lives, and all of your relationships will be allowed to blossom. So what's my challenge this week, Dr. Tammy? I am going to move from avoidance. I'm going to move away from being afraid. I am going to move towards security and attachment. And I am not going to allow my past experiences as a child or my rearing to interfere with the joy that was made just for me. So that is your challenge this week. Your challenge is to receive the joy that's supposed to be there for you. And in turn, watch the magic happen around you. And as you've heard me say before, get out of your own way. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, good people. Much, much, much love.